We are having ourselves another heat wave here in the UK, and today is the peak of that heat wave, so I am just trying to stay as cool as possible. I wanted to show you what I picked up in town. So I needed to go into town because I had something to pick up from CEX, and then the CEX is right by the it's called TG Jones now, but I will always know it as WH Smith. And in WH Smith, they have a buy one get one half price offer on books, and I really want to have a bit of a break from the two books that I'm currently reading. So I'm reading The Final Empire, which is the first book in the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, which is part of my Giggly Gremlins book club with my best friend Shannon. And then I'm also reading The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, which is my bestie chooses my reads pick from Shannon. And I'm loving both of those books. I'm having such a great time, but one is a high fantasy, the other is a sci-fi. Even though they are really enjoyable, I'm having such a good time with them. It does take a bit of brain power to sit and read them because they're set in worlds that have a lot of political intrigue, very dense world building, and there's a massive cast of characters in both books. I just feel like I just need a mini break. So today I have a day off. It's now like 12:30, I think, and this morning me and mum popped into town to just run a couple of errands. And when I popped into the shop and I saw the buy one get one half price offer, and there were two books that really stood out to me. I initially went in just wanting to get like a really small book that I could probably just sit and read in one sitting or in one day. And this book that caught my eye, it's a very popular book at the minute. I've only heard brilliant things about it. And even though it's not like a small book, it's written, I should just show you, shouldn't I? It's The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. Now, this book is written through correspondence, through letters, and I feel like it's going to be a book that I can quickly get through because it's not dense writing per se. It is the Women's Prize winner of this year. I've only heard amazing things about it, and I'm pretty sure this is actually Bestie Poppy's book club pick for the month as well. So I am part of her book club on Fable, so I might even pop in on there and see what other people think of it and what other people are saying. But I only heard brilliant things. I really feel like I need a bit of a break from fantasy, sci-fi, those kind of world-building genres. This one, I think it is going to pull on my heartstrings a little bit, but I kind of feel like I need that right now. I really want to keep expanding my literary fiction repertoire. And this just seemed like the perfect choice. So this is what I plan to be reading today. But like I mentioned, this was part of the buy one get one half price deal. And I recently discovered, I heard about this concept album a few years ago, and it definitely intrigued me, but I just never got round to listening to it. And if you know me at all, then you know that I'm a big fan of ancient history, specifically ancient Greek history. And I think it's because of all the hype that's been going around the Odyssey, the movie, that the Odyssey has been kind of everywhere at the minute. And I remembered this concept album called Epic. It got a lot of attraction a few years ago because I believe the creator, composer, he kind of documented his creative journey on TikTok, I think. It just absolutely blew up, and it is basically a musical rendition of the Odyssey. And I listened to it because I think it's fully released now. He released it in sagas, and I think it's now fully complete. And I listened to it, I listened to it yesterday and the day before on my commute to and from work and on walks and things. It is phenomenal. It is amazing. It's like rock pop music, but with that musical magic to it. I just feel like musical music, there is just something so beautiful about it. The way the singers vocalize and harmonize, there is just something ethereal about theatre music. And this concept album is amazing. And I think on YouTube, people have done like animated movies to go along with the songs. I'm not too sure. I haven't seen them. But anyways, I digress. My point being is the Odyssey is on my brain at the minute. And someone that I really love to read when it comes to Greek retellings is Stephen Fry. And he published last year, I think, his final book in his like ancient Greek series, which is Odyssey. So this is obviously Stephen Fry's retelling of the Odyssey. I have read Mythos and I have read Heroes by him. I've yet to read Troy, but I do have it, and now I have Odyssey. I didn't quite realize how much of basically the Odyssey is Odysseus yearning for his wife Penelope. I never quite realized my lack of knowledge surrounding the Odyssey. So I am really looking forward to reading this. I do feel like I should read Troy first because I believe the events of Troy happen before the events of the Odyssey. Doesn't like Troy happen and then Odyssey is Odysseus's journey home from the events of Troy. I could be wrong, but this is why I need to read them to find out. I've always loved the covers of these as well, and I love the covers of his other Greek retelling series, but I just saw it as a bit of a sign. I saw this as part of the 2 for buy one get one half price offer. I was literally thinking about this book yesterday. I was on Waterstone's website seeing how much it was, debating on whether or not I should get it. So yeah, I saw it as a bit of a sign. Those are the 2 books that I picked up while I was out. If you're curious, the reason I went into CEX was because I ordered myself Princess Mononoke. So I do have a little bit of a DVD collection. You may have spotted it in some previous videos, but the Studio Ghibli collection is something I've been growing for a little while, and I literally realized the other day when I was looking at it that I didn't have Princess Mononoke, and I was like, that's unacceptable. I decided to order it, pick it up, and I do think I've got a itching for it. I haven't watched it in years, and it is very much speaking to me at the minute when it comes to the conversation around our relationship with the environment and the natural world. With these heat waves happening and these wildfires, it's really highlighting the very non-symbiotic relationship that we have forged with the environment and our planet. And this movie is a very beautiful, what's the word I'm looking for? Narration of that. That's not the word I'm looking for, but I can't think of the word I'm looking for. If I remember it, I'll put it up. But this is such a classic when it comes to the Studio Ghibli catalogue. If you haven't watched it, I would highly, highly recommend it. I think all the movies are still on Netflix. So if you have a Netflix account or access to Netflix, I'm pretty sure all of the movies are still on there. I think what I'm going to do now, though, is I really want to sink my teeth into the Correspondent, but I also want to do some cozy craft hobbies. So I recently, where are they? They're down here. I acquired some like craft kits, and one of the ones, where is it? Is it this one? So from The Works, you can have these craft kits by Make and Create. They do like offers like you can get 2 for 12, blah blah, and I found one where it's make your own resin bookmark. So it comes with all the stuff inside and the info booklet and instructions and things. So I thought it'd just be really fun to do like a little crafting session as well, to try and, I don't know, I just feel like recently I've been really not liking my relationship with my phone. So if you didn't know, I use my phone as my camera, but I have recently been doom scrolling horrendously. I used to be really good at limiting my doom scrolling, but recently I have been finding that I have my phone in my hands at times that I really, really don't need it at all. I don't need it. And there was a video that I saw, funnily enough, on Instagram while I was doing my doom scrolling, and there was this girl basically saying, you know, when you find your phone in your hand, really try and catch yourself and ask yourself, do I need my phone to complete this task? And if the answer is no, put it away, put it down. You don't need it. It doesn't need to be in your hand. It doesn't need to be in your vicinity, because then that subconscious, like picking up and looking at your phone for no reason, is restricted. And I really want to try and get into more mindful, present activities to distract me and get me away from my phone. And I have had these kits. I have 4 of them. Okay, I have 4 of these things. and I've had them for about a year, 2 years now, and I haven't opened them. So I thought today would be the perfect opportunity to do it. Now, because we are in a heat wave, how does resin do in heat? I actually don't know. Would it, because I was thinking that you were doing the resin bookmark or doing my first attempt at crocheting. Now, Bestie Jordan has recently been in her crochet coaster era, and I completely forgot that I had this. And I got this one in the sale as well. But this, I think, makes, is it two? And I have never crocheted before in my life. I didn't even know where to start, and this just seemed like a really beginner friendly way to start and get into crochet. So I feel like I'm either going to do this one or the bookmark one. Haven't decided quite yet which one I'm going to do. But the other two that I have, which I think are going to be more autumnal ones, we've got Make Your Own Bath Bombs. I love me a bubble bath. Literally one of my favourite things in the whole wide world. And then the other one is Sew Your Own Felt Animal key rings. These animals, look how cute they are. Look how cute they are. So I thought those were kind of really cute autumn ones to do. So those will probably be saved for another day. But I need to figure out if I want to make myself a bookmark or a couple of coasters. And I've also really gotten back into my colouring as well. So I just want to do a really cozy, survive the heat wave kind of day. I've got a new book to read. I've got some fun activities to do. Even though we are in a heat wave, yes, I will be drinking tea. Okay, look. It just is what it is. I'm a tea gal, and it doesn't matter if it's 10 degrees or, in this case, 33 degrees, I will still be drinking cups of tea. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop rambling now because I've been rambling for nearly 15 minutes, and I am actually just going to crack on with my cozy day. And I really hope that you will join me and do something cozy alongside with me as well. I'm going to be so honest with you guys. I am not doing too well in this heat wave today. I kind of started feeling not too great yesterday, and I honestly also think that's partly due to the eclipse that we had as well. The energy from the eclipse yesterday, to me personally, just was not good at all. But yeah, this heat today, even though it's been hotter in previous heat waves, I am really struggling. really struggling today. I really need to make sure I'm drinking more. I don't think I'm drinking enough water, but I did want to give you guys an update on the Correspondent. I am literally like 35 pages in, so very early on, and I don't have too much to say so far. It's definitely what I was expected, as in the layout and the writing style. So it's correspondence of our main character, Sybil, in forms of letters and emails that she sends or doesn't send in this case. And obviously, because we're very much at the beginning of the book, we are kind of creating an image of Sybil as a character, as a person, who she was in her life. She's in her 70s now. We start off the book with her 73rd birthday, I believe. Within the first few letters that we read of hers, between many different people, like the neighbour down the road, her children, her brother, a journalist, we create a picture of not just who she is as a person, but also a snippet of the life that she's led. For example, her career was in law, and it turns out, or it seems to be, that she was a very successful lawyer in her time. So I am intrigued to see where this goes. It's not very entertaining at the minute. So it's still quite, you know, building blocks, slow paced in that sense, but we've still got a lot of the book to go. A lot can happen, a lot can be revealed. The writing style, because it's written in letters and emails, is very simplistic, but that's kind of what makes it easy and digestible, which is exactly what I was looking for. Still got a bit of way to go with this, but I would ideally like to read it in one day. Let's see if I can actually do that. As a notorious slow reader, if I can get this done within a day, that would be great. That was the goal and the idea, but it is about 4:30 in the afternoon now. I did have like an hour nap because, like I said, this heat wave is really just taking it out of me. But I think I'm just going to top up my water, drink some more water, try and cool down. I don't own a fan or anything, and our house doesn't have air conditioning, so it's literally just windows open, a bit in the shade, hoping that my body temperature regulates and I cool down a bit. Yeah, I'm just going to read a little bit more and I will get back to you when I do have another update. So I have finished The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, and I have some thoughts that I want to share with you. So to start with, my final rating for this is 3.25 stars. I knew that the ending of this book was going to hit me the hardest, because that's kind of how these books go. If you didn't know, I don't know if I've actually explained this in the vlog, but if you aren't aware, The Correspondent is a book told through the form of letters written by our main character, Sybil, who is now in her, well, the book starts when she's 73, and these letters kind of span over the next few years. I think, when do they start? They start in 2012 and the book ends in 2021. So nearly 10 years worth of letters. And these letters she sends to a vast amount of different people, from her family, her friends, to authors that she loves and respects, and some other new characters in her life that kind of pop up unexpectedly. And there is another semi-subplot of letters that are being written to an unknown. So that's kind of like an underlying plot line that you're following throughout the book. It is kind of exactly what it sounds like. You are just following Sybil's life. I say life, her late life, but with that, throughout these letters, she is reflecting upon the earlier years of her life and the relationships that she has cultivated, and the regrets that come with some of the decisions she's made in her life, some of the non-regrets that she has as well. I think for me, this book kind of confounds why I don't read books that are really hyped up during the hype. And it is because I am inevitably disappointed by them. Now, this book is the Women's Prize winner of Fiction 2026, and I had only heard amazing things about this book across all platforms. So, understandably, I then had very high expectations going into this book. And admittedly, if I had just waited a bit longer for the hype to die down and for, I don't know, my expectations to lower, I probably would have been impacted by this book a lot more than I was. But that wasn't the case. That's not how it happened. I did find that when you write in a letter format, the element of show don't tell is taken away, because when we write letters or write texts in modern day on emails and things, we don't write in the flowery literary way when describing things or telling things. You know, we're very direct, straight to the point, sometimes blunt, I guess. And that is, you know, how Sybil writes her letters. The element of description is taken away. For me, at least, that kind of made the book feel quite plain. Whereas, and this is a very, I think maybe, I guess, odd comparison, but if I was going to compare this to a similar format, i.e. diary entry, so for example, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, those books are written in a diary format. The way we would write a diary again, we can kind of fall into this descriptive universe, I guess, that allows the element of show don't tell to still be played with, whereas with letters, it's not quite the same. I can't remember if I've read any other books that are written in this format. I don't think I have, and I don't think I'm going to be reaching for another book in this format anytime soon. That being said, something that letter writing can do, and I think that did happen in this book, especially at the end, is it can have a very emotional punch and emotional impact, especially when things kind of get revealed and unraveled. Raw emotion can definitely come through. Our main character, Sybil, we kind of see her go through this shift in her later life of going from this kind of cold-hearted, in a sense, quite blunt woman to softening. And there's a saying like you kind of soften with old age, and we kind of see that happen in this book, and how that then impacts her relationships with her children and her friends, her ex-husband, etc. Yeah, it's tricky, because I think this is why I struggle a little bit with literary fiction, because a lot of the time literary fiction is very much character studies of people going through everyday things. And as someone who predominantly reads fantasy, they're very, very different in writing styles and settings and characterization and plot lines. It's all very, very different. And there are some literary fictions that have absolutely knocked me off my feet. One of my favourite books of all time is Where the Crawdads Sing. Absolutely blew me away. So I do know lit fic is a genre that I can enjoy and can get into, but I still think I need a bit of story plot to keep me intrigued and to keep me going. Whereas, books like this, where it's very gentle in the plot and you're kind of just idly making your way through someone's life story, can get a bit boring. That being said, like I said, I knew the ending was going to have the biggest impact on me. It is kind of like this gentle build, and then you hit like the climax, and the emotional impact really packs a punch. And there is one character in particular in this book that Sybil forms a relationship with that really did like touch my heart, and seeing how unlikely friendships can blossom into such beautiful relationships. I just think, yeah, there was a certain relationship in this book. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a certain relationship that Sybil has with a character in this book that I thought was portrayed very beautifully, and despite their very obvious differences, they still had this very lovely foundation of understanding for one another. Yeah, it was a very beautiful relationship, and I very much enjoyed reading the letters between the two of them. That was something I wasn't expecting. You don't just get the letters that Sybil writes, you get the replies to those letters as well, which was quite a nice way of kind of keeping the conversation obviously going and keeping the story unraveling as well. Yeah, it made me cry at the end, because there was two letters in particular at the end of the book that got me. Like I said, I was expecting that, but I was also expecting more from this book in general, purely because of the hype. And like I said, if I had just done what I usually do and let the hype die down and read it at a bit of a later date, then maybe I wouldn't feel this kind of disappointment. Would I recommend this book? Yes, I think I would. I think this is a very beautiful book of how people live their lives. Things good and bad happen to us, and I think it was a really lovely way of illustrating relationships between the people we meet, whether that be someone you've known for years, whether it's someone in your family or someone you've met randomly one day. It was a nice story, but I've come away just feeling a little bit disappointed. I'm glad that I read it, and it was a short book. It was easy to read. Like I said, because it's in the letter writing format, it's not hard to read. Yeah, I don't think I have much else to say. The fact that this is a debut as well, and it's done so well, kudos to Virginia Evans. Yeah, so that's that. So I am still reading. Don't know if I've said this in this vlog, but I'm still reading The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, which is my book club pick with my friend Shannon. And I got a message from her this morning saying she's finished it, and I have not. I've got a bit of catching up to do. So I think I'm now going to jump back to prioritising this. I must say, reading The Correspondent and having a bit of a break from the fantasy and sci-fi was definitely the right choice. And I'm so happy that I did that. And I do think I'm ready to get back into this. So I think I'm going to start reprioritising this and A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. And ideally, I would like to get these books done by the end of the week. Today is Monday. Yeah, if I can get these books done by the end of the week, so then I can move on to something else, that would be really, really great. I am working from home today. It's about 1 o'clock, I think. So I need to have some lunch. I wrote a to-do list. Let's actually see if I can tick anything off of this to-do list. So what have I done? I've done my 30 minutes of seahorse training. We can tick that. 30 minutes of oyster training I can technically do by listening to the podcast, and I need to go to the shop, so maybe I can do that while going to the shops. Mindful Monday, yep, done that. I've catched up on my emails. Okay, I filmed the unhaul. I haven't done my 30 minutes catch up on Instagram. Finished The Correspondent, that was on my list. Can tick that. Okay, so I have done some bits on my to-do list today. That's very satisfying. Something that I still haven't started yet is the crocheting coasters. So maybe I should try that today, because I've got work tomorrow and Wednesday, so I won't have a chance to do this or read loads and all that jazz. So maybe I'll try that in a minute, actually. That might be quite nice. I think that's what I might do. Correspondent. Women's Prize Winner Fiction 2026. Done and done. Lol, okay, just said all that without the microphone being turned on. Cool. Let's try that again. What I was basically just rambling about is the fact that I tried doing the crochet kit thing, learned very quickly, or shall I say, reminded myself that the written instruction, like, that's not how I do things, okay? As a dyslexic ADHDer, the way that I learn and process and take in information is I watch it be done and then I do it myself. I've always been that way. So I don't know who I was kidding when I thought like reading an instruction manual and then trying to do it was gonna work. I don't know. I generally don't know who I was kidding with that. Actually, I do know I was kidding myself. I've decided to put the back burner on that. I also learned very quickly that if that's something I do genuinely want to like start and take seriously, I'm gonna have to like sit down, put on a YouTube video that I will have to kind of go over and over again, and hunker down for a large amount of time, because I'm not gonna pick it up like that. But my annoying perfectionist side hates when I don't get something right the first time. I'm just like, right, that's it. Like, that's it. I can't do it. I'm just not doing it. And that's not good. I need to change that. So there's an update on that. But what I do think I'm going to do is actually wrap up the vlog here. Thank you so much for joining me, as always. Let me know down below what book you are currently reading. And if you've read The Correspondent, I would really love to hear your views, because it seems to be one of those books that it appears that everybody has loved it and is loving it. But then when I actually looked at some reviews, and the people in Poppy's book club as well shared very similar thoughts with me, which I found very, very interesting. So I would love to hear your thoughts below if you have read it. That is everything, my lovelies. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month, forever. And I really hope to see you in the next video. Bye!